Welcome to the video, the same every time, the quadratic equation formula. Well, the purpose of these videos is to look at questions on your GCSE exams or your IGCSE exams where the questions are pretty much the same every time apart from the numbers. And if you can get the questions that are the same every time, get them right every time, then that's one way of getting yourself into the grades. So one kind of question that's the same every time, the quadratic equation formula. Solve this equation, 3x squared minus 2x minus 2 equals 0. Well, we know it's a quadratic equation because it has to look like something x squared, something x, some number, equals 0. And the big clue that we are expected to use the quadratic equation formula is that they say show all your working and give your answers correct to 2 decimal places. Down at the bottom of the screen, I've got the quadratic equation formula here, which is given to me on the formula page of my exam. If in your particular case it's not given to you, then of course this is something that you'll have to learn. And the first thing I would do is identify from my quadratic equation what is the a, what is the b, what is the c. So the a is the number that we're multiplying by the x squared, so in this case a equals 3. The b is the number that we multiply by the x, so in this case we're going to have b equals, be careful, negative 2. And the c is just a number on its own, again be careful, c equals negative 2. Now notice in the equation inside the square root it says b squared minus 4ac. That's the first thing that I'm going to calculate. The question says show all your working. It is not enough just to write down the answers. If you just write down 2 answers, if they're correct, I think you're going to get nothing for this question because they are interested in the working. If you just use the functions on your calculator to solve this, a lot of calculators can solve these. Again, that's not what they want to see. The first thing I would do for this question, making sure that I'm showing all my working, is to calculate the thing inside the square root. b squared minus 4ac. So b is negative 2, so negative 2 squared. Remember, if we're putting a number into our calculator and we're squaring it, we need to put it into brackets, especially if it's a negative. Minus 4 times a times c, which is negative 2. So my b squared minus 4ac, I'll just calculate that. You try it yourself on your calculator. See if you can get the same answer. Then we know we're going in the right direction. So times by negative 2. Just type it into your calculator exactly as it looks. And I've got 28. So my b squared minus 4ac is 28. And I'm showing my working is very clear. Now looking at the formula, we notice that it has a plus or minus sign in there, a plus or minus. That confuses some people, but actually what it means is we have 2 formulas because we get 2 solutions. One of the formulas has a plus sign, one of the formulas has a minus sign. Now, what I'm going to do here is just substitute numbers into my formula. So x equals negative b. Well, this just means that I'm going to change the sign of my b. So b was negative 2, so negative b, negative 2, positive 2. Then plus square root of b squared minus 4ac, which was 28, and the whole thing divided by 2 times a. Well, a was 3, so 2 times 3. I'll work that out later. And then my next solution, my second solution, is exactly the same thing, but instead of a plus sign, I've got a minus sign, so minus square root 28 divided by 2 times 3. Okay, so what I would do here to make sure I'm getting all the marks, I'm going to calculate these and I'm going to write down my full calculator answer. Try this yourself as well, using the fraction button on your calculator. On the top of the fraction, 2 plus square root 28. On the bottom of the fraction, 2 times 3. Now my calculator doesn't give me a decimal for that, so I'll press the SD button and I get 1.21525, and that's all I'll write down. I'll just put some dots there to show that there's more on my calculator. Now I can use my replay buttons, the arrow buttons, and just change my plus to a takeaway. Press equals, again SD button to get the decimal, and I've got negative 0.54858 and some more digits which I won't write down. Now the reason why I've written my calculator answer there and my calculator answer for the second one is because the question says show all your working. I've got all my working down here, and then give your answers correct to 2 decimal places. So even if I get my rounding wrong for the 2 decimal places, I can still pick up my marks for showing that I've actually calculated the numbers correctly. My first value, 1.21, then the third digit after the decimal point is a 5, tells me to round up, so 1.22. My second solution, negative 0.54, then the next digit is an 8, tells me to round up, so negative 0.55. So there we are. Those are my 2 solutions, and I've shown all of my working, and I've given my answers correct to 2 decimal places. Same every time. If you do this every time, you're going to get yourself into the marks, you're going to get yourself full marks for this question. If this video was useful to you, then please do subscribe to the channel.